Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be back here tonight. As you can see, Matthew has changed dramatically. No, Matthew wasn't able to be here tonight, so wanted to have a fill in for this. Somebody who's got a lot of questions for our guest tonight. So, without further ado, let's bring up my brother from another mother, Mr. Jim Foster. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great, thank you. How's everybody doing?
Hey, we're doing pretty good, man.
Survival.
We're here to evangelize.
Hey, there you go. Let's see if we can get a different view. Let's use this. There we go. We'll use that view where we'll all show up on camera. But no, it's good to have you. Like I said, there, Matthew texted a little bit ago and said he wasn't going to be able to make it tonight. So this one's been got some questions for you. So I figured I'd put her on the camera, and she took a few pictures a few weeks ago with something, and I said let's save that for when we have Jim on. I said because I
Oh
want
gosh,
to get
okay.
out of it. Do what now? So how's things going your way?
Well, everything's work, all that kind of good stuff is going great. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop with respect to I do mortgages, right? I'm a loan officer. Just waiting for the other shoe to drop with respect to the interest rates and stuff like that. But right now they're at they're at a good level, I guess. They're not close to 7.5 or back down around 6.5. So that's good. Everything else, just chugging along. Just I'm keeping my ear to the ground about the New World Order. You know me.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I saw some of your posts there that you had posted the last few days about some things. I don't know. I love keeping up with you. Love following you. That's why I enjoy having you on. The last time that you were on, a couple of months ago, you mentioned about doing a show maybe once a month, and I like that idea. If that's still something you're interested in, we'll do it. So
yeah, please. I'm available.
So that is something that we definitely will keep going on. And of course, and if anybody cares out there right now, wondering why we're doing this, I'll keep you updated. It's the 49ers 10 and the Chiefs nothing right now in the second quarter, if anybody really cares. But as you see how much we care. So we're here.
It's all scripted.
Exactly. So what I said, I'd rather be here anyway.
Yeah.
So would you like to talk to Jim?
Hi, Jim.
Well, hello.
You don't have to be scared of me.
I just kind of got conned into this. This isn't my show now.
No, that's okay. Hey, I was at the doctor Friday. I got penicillin. We're all good.
I'm not scared of you. I kind of have my own questions about things anyway.
Please.
We were driving the other day and we saw the moon in the sky and the sun at the same time.
In the middle of the day.
Yes.
And she's like, so how exactly could that happen?
How's that work?
So I
let me ask you this. What did the moon look like? Was it half full? What was it?
Well, hang on here. I'll see if I can pull it up here. Let's go solo. Right there it is.
Full, wasn't it?
So there's can you see
it's not quite full. Yeah, I can see it. It's not quite full. It's almost full. So yeah, the answer is, well, if the you see the bottom left part there, it's not quite all the way through. Yeah. And everyone's my question, when I was first started looking into this stuff, years ago, well, how is that possible, right? Because if the Earth makes the shadow on the moon, how are they in the same sky at the same time, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the short answer is that the moon, the short answer is the Earth doesn't make the shadow. Of course, we've been misled and lied to in this Luciferian controlled New World Order beast system, right? Since we were born, since my grandparents were born, and everything that this system is telling us, or what it's telling us, is to bring us further away from the one who created it. So that is why this whole system is set up. Now, the reason why you can see the moon and the sun in the same sky is that the moon itself is a plasma. It's translucent, meaning you can see through it, right? Here's something you guys can look at next time you see a half moon. So you see how that moon in the bottom left is a little bit curved.
Hang on, let me put it back up there, Jim.
Yeah, put it back up. All right. That bottom left part of the moon, you can see how it's a little bit a curved shadow.
Okay, we're back. Yeah.
A little bit of a curved shadow. Do you know what and then it's, it starts at the crescent moon and then it kind of gets bigger and bigger. You know what the half moon looks like? What shape is that line going through on the half moon when it's half full? It's straight. Okay? So if all of the moon's dark part or light part, dark into light part, the negative part and the positive part are curved, why all of a sudden does it turn straight during the half moon? Well, the answer is that the earth is not making those shadows. This is God's creation. This is Yahweh's creation. The moon is a translucent disk. And for all you guys live out in the country or out in Tennessee, is it Tennessee?
Kentucky.
Okay. So it gets hot like it does here in the summer, right? So sometime I want you guys to do this. I've done this experiment with Boy Scouts and other churches and groups. Take some people out. Get yourself a little gun that detects temperature, right? You can shoot a laser at an object and it'll give you the temperature, right? You guys go out during a full moon during the summer and point that gun at something that's in the shade, preferably maybe the sidewalk if you can find a nice spot where both of them are, and then point to what's in direct moonlight. And the moonlight is going to be 3 degrees cooler than what's in the shade. So that right there, and this is a repeatable experiment. You can do it. It never fails. This is like this is like an experiment that you do that, like when you light a match. If the gunpowder's right, it's over. If the accelerant's right, it's always going to go off. So you do that during the summer, full moon. Go out, get yourself a temperature gun, shoot it towards the shade, and then shoot it towards the moonlight, and it's going to be clear. And the reason for that is the moon, as the Bible says, the lesser light to rule the night. It gives its own. Energy, cool energy.
Yeah.
Right there.
So did you
get
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that one picture there, not the first one, but that second one, I took this one because we had the snow on the ground, and you could see the shadows because, the blue sky and the sun was shining. You could see the moon way back there. So, that's why that picture was taken, because
Oh, I see it. I see it down there between.
we wanted people to see that the sun, was actually out. I mean, that was during our snowstorm here that we had a few weeks ago. But, we saw it all the way home. We were in the other county closest to us. I went to Walmart and came back. And, we said, we're going to take pictures. We stopped right in the middle of the road to take pictures. And I said, I'm going to save this for when we have Jim on. That way we can discuss this moon being out at the same time the sun is during the day.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because we're taught in school, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, that the earth makes the shadow on the moon. That's what we're taught, and it's not true. The system gets us when we're kids, right? And they just pound in. What is in a classroom? What's in a classroom from kindergarten to 8th grade? And once you get past 8th grade, it's gone. And doesn't matter.
Globe.
A globe. Exactly right. Once you hit 8th grade, 9th grade, it's gone because and this doesn't matter. If we're all supposed to coexist, right? Why is it that we all must agree that the shape of the earth is this? Why do we have to agree that it's that, right? Right?
Or you just knocked the earth off its axis. So.
Yeah, right. So the reason for that is that it doesn't matter if you're Russian or if you're Lithuanian, if you're Iran, Quebec, Canada, United States, South America, Japan, China. It doesn't matter who you are. They all have this in their classroom because Satan controls Earth. This is Satan's domain, and that is, that Job talks about it, and Matthew talks about that in the Bible. In Yeshua, Jesus calls Satan the prince of this earth and the god of this earth. So understand, when Eve was beguiled in the Garden of Eden, and we sinned, that was kind of the start of this whole Satan versus God thing with us. Anyway, this is the second iteration, the second chapter of God's creation. There was stuff here before us, before Earth, but we're the first creatures that were made in His image, and thus why Lucifer, Beelzebub, Satan, whatever moniker, whatever name you want to call this guy, this entity, that's in and lies the rub of why he was jealous and began all of this stuff. And then Cain and Abel, right? And then the Yeshua bloodline. That's where we're all at. It's all because of this right here. The Jesuit order in the 1500s started pushing this, the Catholics, to bring you further away from your Creator. When, in fact, you're not here, you're here. Big difference, right?
Major difference, yeah.
Yep. And we're taught that we live here. If you believe in this, you came from monkeys, right? This is evolution. This is the Big Bang. We were sludge. We were a one-celled organism who then split into two-cell, then became a slug, and then we began to walk and blah, blah, blah. That is this model right here. So if you're a Christian, or if you believe in a divine being, intelligent design, something bigger than yourself, basically, then you cannot believe in this, because there's nothing behind this that is intelligent. I mean, he's very intelligent, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing behind this that makes you the center of the creation like it does here.
Yeah, I saw people on one of your posts earlier. You were talking about, let me get it back on here, the flat Earth, and people said the Earth isn't flat, and you said, but the Bible says that it is.
It says four
So
corners.
how could you, like you said, if you're a Christian, how could you not believe what the Bible says?
Well, right, and so this is what, 2024 now. I can't believe it's 2024. I've been this way talking about this probably since about pretty heavily since 2013, I guess, 11 years or so. It really picked up steam in 2016, and I've been preaching the same, or talking about the same stuff for decades, or for a decade at least, about if you're going to church and we're sitting down there, you're coming down. I went to some Baptist churches as a kid, Falls Creek here in Oklahoma. Come on down and get saved, right? How, if you're a Christian, how can you believe in this globe model? And this just goes to show you how deep the indoctrination is, the brainwashing is. Because why? What did I say a few minutes ago? Because they get you in kindergarten, and this is sitting somewhere in the classroom up on the desk, and then you're watching your Disney movies, and then you're watching whatever movies in space, and the kids don't know how to discern between what's reality and not with respect to where they live. We grow up assuming this is real, and it's a very, very hard thing to break down somebody, because once we get to 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th, 11th, 12th, once we get in our 20s and 30s, now we have egos, right? So getting past that ego is the biggest thing.
Yeah. And also, guys, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. If anybody watching does have questions that they want Jim to answer, or tell us that we're crazy, whatever you want to say, put it in the comments and we'll bring it up here.
Yeah,
we get told we're crazy
questions.
all the time here, so it's no big deal.
Well, the thing that doesn't make sense to me, why I started looking at it, is that the flight patterns. I don't understand flight patterns. If I want to go from A to B, I would take the shortest route. But
which is a straight line, is what we learn, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've got this. I got Flight Radar. I actually pay for Flight Radar every year. Weirdly enough, I like to look at airplanes, and we were looking at one. I don't know, where was it? Out of LAX maybe, or somewhere. I don't know. We was looking at them, just all over the United States, and I clicked on one, and it was going to like Tokyo, Japan, which is right across the Pacific Ocean. So instead of it taking off in California and going right straight across the ocean, it goes up all the way through Canada, and then all the way around through there to the other side to come. What takes 15, 16 hours, it probably wouldn't have took it 4 hours if it went across the ocean. And I said, something other don't seem right there. And then that's, I said, we just have to, there's some
Well,
common sense things that say that it can't be what they say it all is. But
right. And we have to understand this map right here, it's not accurate. I mean, it's a representation, okay? In Corinthians, excuse me, I'm trying to think of the verse. In Corinthians, I believe it talks that God, Yahweh, he only knows where everything lies. So looking at this, it's a representation, because I get this all the time from these flat earth deniers out here that we're over here. Let me see here. We're over here in Australia. How do you get all the way over here to South America, right? Or Africa, right? And in such a short time. Well, this is just a representation. This is not where the continents actually are. I mean, you can say maybe they're probably pretty close around here, but the ones that are further out, we just don't know. That's the thing. And then you being very astute, and your wife there looking at flight patterns, of course. Why wouldn't they just go jet right across? I just did a post today on Taylor Swift being, a witch.
I loved it. I read it to her when you posted it, and I said, everything he's talking about equals 13. I said, and that's accurate as could be.
Yeah. Yep. Tokyo. She was in Tokyo to Las Vegas, 13-hour trip. And then what you guys are seeing is just right across the North Pole area, right? Kind of just going that way instead of really just going out to sea. So it's a thing. We've been, and it's really hard. I get the challenge of trying to get people to understand. It's called cognitive dissonance, right? Trying to get people to understand that we've been lied to, that this whole system is one big sham. Just like that thing people got in their arm. I was screaming at the top of my lungs 4 years ago. Don't do it. Stop. It's a bunch of BS. It's a big sham. Everything about this construct and we live in, this reality, is a lie, and it's done on purpose, because that everyone's always heard it's hidden in plain sight. The UN map, everything's hidden in plain sight because we haven't been taught what to look for. So yeah, it's Groundhog Day most of the days for me, because I talk about the same stuff, which is great. I don't mind it at all, especially people that are really interested. Yeah.
Ask him about. I got a question for him. In certain parts, a time of the year, can you not walk from Alaska into Russia?
Did you
say that?
Okay. He said, isn't there certain times of year can you not walk from Alaska into Russia?
Into Russia, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, it's during the fall. The water recedes, and that land bridge, becomes where you would sink in the mud, right? Don't get, but it's not 20 feet deep. It's more 2 or 3 feet maybe. But yeah, there is a way to do that. And how do you think the tribes of Israel, the 10 lost tribes, got over here? Yeshua, your Savior, is from what they call the Middle East, right? And when God is, but it's really, do you guys know this? And I haven't spoke about this, but do you guys understand or know that Israel is in Africa? Do we know that? Israel is in Eastern Africa. It's not the Mid-East. The Mid-East is a new term that came up by the UN, the people that started the UN, the League of Nations back under Woodrow Wilson. And the Mid-East is a term to confuse everyone, okay? Because Yeshua is from Africa. And then when God disbanded all the tribes, the 10 tribes from Israel, when they killed their Savior, when they killed Yeshua, when he disbanded the tribes, that's how they got over here. And some people, there's some train of thought out there that are Native Americans here are part of those tribes. So I've been looking into that. It's something for the last year I've been looking into. But yeah, to answer your question, there's a land bridge there. Yes.
Okay, he's not the Garden of Eden in Ethiopia.
He said the Garden of Eden. He said is the Garden of Eden in Ethiopia.
Yeah. It's there. There's probably about 100 square mile area over there in Africa, Israel be included in that, from the Euphrates, where the Garden of Eden lies. I don't know if it's part of Turkey. I've heard it's in part of Turkey. It's been a minute since I've studied on the Garden of Eden, but yeah, it's all there. Everything that we know about or what we heard is biblical. And that's the God made us the center of his universe, his world, his earth. That's why he sits up here at the very top right here and looks down on us. And I think it is Corinthians. It talks about looking at us like grasshoppers in a looking glass, right? That's because he's up here in the three heavens. There's three heavens, and he's looking down on us. We are special to him, and we are his creation. And this is why Lucifer got jealous and did what he did because of us, because we're made in his image. Angels are not made in his image. They are a totally different being. We were made in his image, and we are, in the Bible, as the Bible states, we are a step above the angels with respect to God's divinity. So that's why Lucifer got pissed off, angry. He's going, these people that are mortal and can be hurt and can die are better than us, and that's kind of where that all started. His jealousy.
Got anything else, Mark? Real quick.
Well, I've heard things and stuff over the years, especially working night shift on late night radio and AM that they wanted to do away with. But anyway, does he think that the Nephilim have returned?
That the who?
The Nephilim.
The Nephilim?
Yeah, you talk about the giants. Yeah, the men of renown, Genesis 6, right? The Nephilim. Yeah, those. What was your question? Do I think that they exist or they're here?
Do you think they have returned?
Yes and no. I don't think they ever left, to tell you the truth. I think there were some, because it even says that they were after the flood. They were here after the flood as well. I think they've been around, perhaps. So I don't think. I think now they're being revealed. They could be revealed. I really don't know. I mean, only time will tell. I wish that I had. You heard about that thing in, was it what was that? Three giants walked out of the mall or something. What was that? What in Vegas was it?
He said Miami, Florida.
Oh, that's right, Miami. Yes. I learned a long time ago. My dad taught me this years ago. Believe nothing of what you see and half of what you hear. Right? So basically, take everything with a grain of salt. However, I do believe that there are entities out there. They're all either demons or, well, they will be demons. There's nothing such thing as aliens. And that there's a lot of things that we don't know. But the thing about knowing the Earth is stationary construct is that you're able to spot a lie. Once you understand this, you may not know the full truth, but you can spot a lie. Right, you can tell, oh, that's BS. Oh, no, I don't believe that. You try to pull it. Why are you getting that thing in your arm, right? You just know all of this stuff becomes a little bit more clear. But with respect to the Nephilim, yeah, I think they're still around. I don't think they totally all left at any time. I think they're still here. Little tiny numbers, perhaps. If I was to put a number on like maybe 10 or 20, I don't know, right? I'm just saying there's not as many as you would think, but I believe they are here.
Back to the Florida thing, does he think it might be an experiment with Project Bluebeam?
Talk about you said the Iraqi border. What was that?
He was talking about the thing in Miami. He said, "Do you think that could be a part of the Project Bluebeam?"
I think it. Well, no, not. Yeah, yes. Bluebeam, not so much, but more of the CERN project. Maybe. That it's really to get people confused. Because here's the thing. Was it real or was it not, right? Start basically, start a basic question. Was it real or was it not? I'm leaning, 60% it was that there was something going on. Now, was it government? Was it actually really something from CERN or some type of teleportation, or was it like you just said, something to have to do with one of the projects, Project Bluebeam, or something like that, to get us to believe, right? Because what's going to happen? Because they're getting all geared up for the alien invasion, folks. That's what this whole thing, all of this stuff is about. Whether these things are actually real or not real, it matters in that we have to believe that those things are real. But you have to remember that they're going to do things like 9/11. They will do things to get stuff implemented or get people to start believing things, right? Because we all know now, 2001, 9/11, 2001, that Islam had nothing to do with it, right? This was to enact the globalist order, turn on the engine of the New World Order, right? To get the Patriot Act, NDAA, all of these control mechanisms in, because we were so pissed off at the Muslims. Like, let's go, let's roll, right? Remember that? I mean, get your flags out, folks. But that's what they do. They do these psyops and these big things to get people on board so they can implement their stuff a lot easier, So Project Bluebeam, it might have been. Project Bluebeam is definitely going to be the things that they are projecting in the sky once this alien invasion happens, right? They're going to be projecting these things, and in those projections, I don't know this for a fact, but this is what I've come to understand, and maybe it's going to be part of the deception, is that these Bluebeam big alien ships in the sky, the ones that that were over Arizona not too long ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was, inside those projections, they're going to have drones that will actually have bombs and shit that they can shoot out. So it looks like these aliens are bombing something, but it's really not. It's going to be our governments, China, Russia, United States, bombing the shit out of us. So we all join together and go, no, we don't know. And then they'll come swooping in like the cowboy in the white hat. We've got you. Here's what we need to do. And that's game over. Then it's the one world government and one world religion right there. Oh, you mute. Were you talking? Can you hear me?
Oh, had myself. There we are. No, I said we've been talking about the one world government there for a little while now, for a couple of years. I said, and it's starting to look like it's more and more getting closer to being more and more reality every day, the way things are going.
It is, yeah. Davos, Switzerland just happened last month, guys. They're not playing around. You've heard of this guy, Trevor Noah. He is. Have you heard of this skinny guy that's talking about AI and that Yeshua is not real? This is a guy that is top of the World Economic Forum. So they're not playing around. They've got their agenda. And guys, remember, this started before I was born. It started really in the New World Order. Kind of started in 1945 with respect to the United States, when they got all they got all of the countries to agree on whatever it was after World War II, right? That is what they do. All the wars, guys, I want you to understand this. Every war, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, the War of 1812, the World War I was the Tsar. They wanted to get rid of the Tsars. They killed Gaddafi. Because remember Hillary Clinton said, we came, we saw, we killed, right? That was because Gaddafi was going to go back to the gold standard. Guys, understand the Rothschilds, and if you know their name, they're part of the Luciferian control New World Order beast system. All of the wars have been shams so they could further their agenda. Do you know that the Rothschilds had both sides of World War I, right? The Rockefellers, or was it the Rothschilds? Either way, same families, the Blue Bloods. So and we just lap it up. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we want to believe that our governments have that they're for us. They want to do stuff for us, but it's not. They're being controlled by Satan, unfortunately.
Israel ain't it owned by the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers?
The land of what?
Israel.
The land of Israel.
Is it not?
Is it owned by the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, guys, listen. Okay, so here's the thing. All right, I'm just going to let everybody know there in Kentucky that your Savior Yeshua is black. Okay, so color shouldn't matter, right? Color shouldn't matter a hill of beans, right? But we grew up with the blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus. Well, there, all right, woo, amen. Okay, as long as you're saved, great. But here's the thing: the Rothschilds. So there's a verse in Revelations 13, or no, sorry, Revelations 13:9 and 12:9, I believe, that talks about the synagogues of Satan. And I just had an epiphany this last year. I was praying on it and asking, and and my wife found something about how is it that if they're if the Jews in Israel, if they're the chosen ones, and they killed Yeshua, 2 centuries ago. Oh yeah, I mean 2,000 years ago. How are they the chosen ones, and how is it that Revelations talks about the synagogues of Satan? Okay, well, come to learn that the Jews, what you guys just asked about Israel and the Rockefellers and 1945, yes, they created the state of Israel in 1945. I'm sorry, 1948, Balfour Declaration. Okay, and so now it started to make a little more sense to me when I found out that, well, how are these Jews in Israel the synagogues of Satan? Well, come to find out that the Jews in Israel are not actually the chosen Hebrews of the Bible. They are Ashkenazis. These are Jews that are Eastern European that are being brought in by the Rockefellers to take over that land. And the real Hebrews are black. They got scattered because remember the 10 tribes.
The Khazarians, he said.
Ashkenazis. And which one?
The Khazarians.
Khazarians, exactly, yes. Yes. So the Jews that are in Israel today are not the chosen people of Yahweh. Okay, it's a tough pill to swallow for some. But if you accept that they could be interlopers, then you can start doing your own research and then come to revelation on your own, right? But the Jews that are there are interlopers. They stole the identity of the real Hebrews, the chosen ones, which God Yahweh scattered and sold into slavery, because now here's where it is. Now listen, let's go with my premise. Okay, let's say that all the Hebrews there, the Jews, they're black as they're black because they're in Eastern Africa. What did they do? They killed Yeshua, right? The Pharisees, they killed Yeshua. Okay. So what did God do to these people? He spread them out. He disbanded them, correct? And now, fast forward, they are now Christians. The blacks are now Christians. So they believe in Yeshua now. Only God could do something like that. Because the Jews that are there today, still to this day, don't think Yeshua is the Savior. That's why they are the Ashkenazis, the Khazarians. They are interlopers. So
they won't argue though that Yeshua, that he didn't exist though. They tell you that he exists, but he was just a prophet, right?
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. It's just like they're kind of. That's why Islam's going to be the one world religion, folks. The Jews that are there now in Islam and the Jews that are in Israel now, they have a lot of things in common, and one of those is that Jesus was just a prophet. He was a great man, but he was not the Savior. Just like when the Pharisees killed Yeshua back in 32 AD, 33 AD, or 33 AD, when they killed him, they were expecting a military leader. These Pharisees, that's what they're looking at today. They don't think that Yeshua is who he is because of their own ignorance and because they're being run by the other guy.
So you're saying that the Rothschilds and Rockefellers are responsible for modern day Israel?
Correct. The
Which,
belt.
if you go
Go
back
ahead.
to history and you study it, the Rothschilds and Rockefellers are behind a lot of wars, and also if you look at anybody who is for the gold standard throughout history, things have happened to them. Look at the Titanic, JFK, Donald Trump. He's for. I know you don't like Donald, but he was for
No,
gold standard.
no. I like. Listen, I like Don. I mean, I just know what they are. Okay, it doesn't, because they're all part of the globalist order. They just may be different levels, right?
Well,
and it's not saying that God can't work or Yahweh can't work through our leaders, right? But yeah, no. Once you get back on the gold, Donald Trump, JF Kennedy, gone. Muammar Gaddafi, gone. Right? Yeah, you're exactly right.
Hindenburg.
The Titanic was a big one, guys.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
the Titanic was a monster.
I've researched that one.
Yeah, got rid of 4 or 5 family bankers, and then
And the person who footed the bill for the Titanic didn't even go on it because he was opposed to the gold standard. He wanted the Federal Reserve. How can him that he missed that voyage?
Yeah, hey, here's the way you can look at it. Don't mess with their money, right? What is it most people get in trouble for? Tax evasion. Paying your taxes. You start messing with their money, they're going to take it personally. I mean, that's how they got Al Capone, was tax evasion. It wasn't on murder or racketeering or anything like that. They got him for not paying his taxes.
Yeah, it'd be Apollo get by with that.
If he paid his taxes, they probably would have stayed away from him.
Yeah. Let's see if we got any questions here.
Well, the IRS is. I mean, they came about because of the Federal Reserve, right?
Yeah, well, so the federal, as you guys know and I know and people watching, the federal, there's nothing federal about them. They're private families, right? But yeah, so the IRS was spawned because they needed to start collecting money, and the big push was in the 50s when in the early 60s when the feminist movement came out, and then they got women to start working. Now they doubled their tax base. I mean, they destroyed the family, right? God made women and men different. Men are providers, and women are the nurturers and take care of family and kids and all that kind of stuff. And the feminist movement was a big CIA psyop to get the tax base broadened.
Kind of like raising minimum wage would only help the government because they would collect more taxes. Yeah,
exactly. Yep. And they don't care. They don't care what happens to people. Understand that. Even their own, they will eat their own. Okay, don't think any of the Rothschilds or Rockefellers are immune to Satan, because he will use anybody he can in any way he can if they let him. Still there?
Play.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, okay.
Tell him what
he had us muted. Sorry,
I hit the mute button that way. There ain't nothing coming over top of you, and then we start talking, and the next thing I know, we're still muted. But
if you've heard Paul Harvey's "If I Were the Devil," Michael and I have been talking about that the last few days. How it's like a play-by-play, and he wrote that in 1965.
You can call that a prophecy.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get that broken down a little bit more, and here in the future talk a little bit more about that. She played a little bit of it for me today, and I'm like, "Are you serious?"
1965.
It's stuff that would happen later on. What was the book?
George Orwell's
1984. Talking about things that would happen or
like
currently happening.
Totalitarian government. You can't pay attention to history. History's rewrote.
And that was wrote in 49. 49. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. With the cultism and how we're set up, they have to tell us what they're doing. So if people would just pay attention to what they're saying, then we could figure a lot of stuff out.
Yeah.
But you start talking. Well, God, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're a nut. You believe this?
We
you
get
know?
we get that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so you're
But,
in the right camp.
I'm sure you probably do as well. So.
Oh, all the time.
I was laughing. Well, we talked about it off the air, but you were talking, trying to find a church, and there in your area to go to, and you still haven't been able to find a church that actually believes and preaches the same things that you believe in, and it's like that's sort of the same way here. A lot of the reasons why a lot of people don't attend their local churches is because they don't
Yeah.
preach the things that are really going on in the world, or the things that are really that should matter, that you would believe that they would be talking about. They just go up there and they just say the same things that anybody
Oh,
else would say, and it's like,
listen. When I met 8 years ago, when I was talking about this, 9 years, 8, 9 years. Anyway, my wife would cringe when I would talk about our pre. She's now. I mean, she didn't take her very long to get on board, but before she knew everything I was, knew or talked about, I would call out Greg Grichelle here in Oklahoma at Life Church. You guys might have some Life churches out in your area. They got pretty big. I would call out the other pastors here for not, especially, you're not doing your flock any good by not talking about the new world order, or however you want to phrase it, that Satan is real. They give these silly, how to be a good father, which is not, don't get me wrong. We all need these kind of things. It's fine. I'm not disparaging some of their messages, but they don't talk about anything to do with Satan for some reason. They have these 4-week courses, and they have movies, and all kinds of stuff in this Life Church. But I don't ever, and I look, and I'm not sitting here going, I'm looking for something. Never will they talk about it, about what's going on with this. Our pastors, dude, when they were telling churches to close in 2020, I go, what the hell are you doing? Closing, listening to the government. Why are you going? And now, fast forward 4 years, we all knew it was a big old sham, didn't we? Knew that disease is a big sham to get this in your body, to change the DNA, because it's now mRNA. It's old stuff. But I was so pissed at the churches for not standing up, man. It was boggling my mind, the lack of courage these people had.
Yeah, our governor was actually asking people to write people's license plates down, report them if they were at church, if churches were being held.
What
a elected in November.
Yeah. That was one of the things a lot of people said. We won't forget when election time comes around that you were going to church parking lots and writing down people's license plates and arresting people. Right? He gets reelected.
He's supposed to be a deacon of the church.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be a deacon of a church. So
he got reelected.
Yeah, he got reelected in November.
Reelected.
Well, see, okay, so there you go. Why? Because you got a lot of stupid people out there that's not listening, right? And I'm like, people, that same here in Oklahoma. I'm like, guys, it boggles my mind. I was in Los Angeles, California, for West Hollywood area, Newport Beach. 12 years I was out there, and they had a governor that they at the time recalled, and then he got reelected. It's just so we are stupid, and I put myself in that collectiveness, okay? Because we fall for it's like Charlie Brown in the football, man. Lucy every freaking time. Boom! There you go. Oh, boom! When are we gonna learn? Okay, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing here, because a lot of people were using that. A lot of people that even voted for him the first time was like, no, we're not going to forget the way you did us, threatening the churches and everything like that. And then he actually won some counties in eastern Kentucky that he got blown out in 4 years ago. And I'm thinking,
that we had a crisis in, and that they really didn't do anything to help. We had a flood that
we had a flood here. Two summers? This summer will be 2 years, that wiped out 3 or 4 counties. And they didn't do nothing. They showed up there and said, "Oh, we're going to do this," and then people got like $7 checks in the mail
We just
from
drove there today.
FEMA.
Those
I was
people.
just in one of the counties today, and there's still people living in campers on the side of a hill that that never did get anything out of it, and he still gets reelected, still wins that county.
Then
How does
where
that
do y'all
happen?
think the disconnect is?
Do what now?
Where do you think the disconnect is?
I have no idea. I don't know what's going on really. I mean,
I think people just want to believe that all this stuff that you're saying and that Michael says isn't really true, and that Matthew says, because it's easier to disconnect from it and pretend that it's not reality, because if it's reality, you might have to act on it. And they just live in this world until they just
until
wake up one day and they go,
until
I can't believe
whatever.
this happened. I saw no signs of it.
Yeah, and then we sit here, and like zoom in on the camera and point right at you and say, "We've been telling you for years this was getting ready to
Yeah, then they
happen."
go, Deb, Michael, what do we do?
What are we supposed to do now? And it's like, we've been telling you for years. We told you this stuff was going to happen. Yeah, it may not happen tomorrow or next week, but when it does happen, you need to know that it's coming. And I don't know. There's just so much silliness going on around here.
You know, people might have an excuse if the time element in between things was 50 years something. You know what I'm saying? Because Noah didn't build that ark. It took 300 years to build that ark. Okay, there was a long time that he was preaching, going, this stuff is coming, and 300 years to then it finally came and people were drowning. We don't have an excuse, respect, because our life range is maybe 80 years old, 90 at the most, 70s average, right? Whatever. So there's a short time once you get into your 20s and 30s, from 40 to 60. If you're hearing this crap and you're not remembering and you're electing the same people, I just don't know what to say to that. It's crazy to me.
Well, imagine the ridicule and stuff that Noah got, but when that flood came, he didn't look so ridiculous.
Oh, I know. And what do you do, right? You just what you do is you shore up your own family and supplies and all that stuff, and then when those people come a knocking, I'm sorry, what?
Well, I mean, that's just like on Tuesday nights here at the store, that we run. We have a live sale here, and this last Tuesday, we ran a lot of survival stuff. A lot of things that are like little old survival bags, little kits, little things
We
in
call
case.
them disaster bags.
We call them disaster bags here because
harass
we've had a tornado right here in the county before, and
And a flood
the
just 2
floods and
years
stuff,
ago.
a few years ago down the road from here. So we come up with these things to try to help people. Never sold the first thing.
Well, no questions.
No questions. Nobody said, "Yeah, I'll come in and check it out." None of this stuff, and it's like, so. If some of this silliness that we're hearing about, you talked alien invasions. I don't know, if we're going about the aliens, but the Russians or whoever in the world, if there's ever a takeover here in this country and the grid gets taken down, and you ain't got anything and you're living off the land. Then, like she said a minute ago, you're going to come running to us and say, "What do I do?" And it's like when we were trying to give you ideas of things to do, you didn't want to hear anything about it. We were conspiracy theorists. The world's never going to stop. All this.
Well, there's an invasion going on at that southern border.
Well, Jim, that's what I was saying, is though that we can talk to people who experienced stuff 2 years ago. I mean, this is a real thing that happened, and some of these people,
you're talking 24 months.
right? And these people were stranded. Some people were stranded and had to take up higher ground because it was flooding. They had to leave their home. And we're talking to them about, you need a bag that has this kind of stuff in it, if you were to have to take out of your house. And people are so disconnected, even though they just experienced it. I mean, it's just, they're so disconnected.
I've got a comment here I want to read to you, Jim, and it actually breaks it down exactly, how a lot of people here in Eastern Kentucky are. And it's from Nancy here. She says, "Grandpa and Daddy were Democrats because they were for the poor and give them their checks. They are taught that Republicans will take their checks, is what I've seen," which is true. they don't even know what they are voting for as they sit on the church pews and behind the pulpit. And that's one of the things I've learned right here in Morgan County, the county we live in. People that grew up, people that I say over the age of 50, maybe over the age of 60. I don't know. Try to watch what I'm doing here. I got some elderly in. No, I'm just kidding. But in the audience, but yeah, but I mean, you were taught. I was raised that way. I was raised until I was a teenager. Democrat. And stuff, and told that the Democrats are for the poor people and the Republicans are only there to take all your money. And then when you get older, you see both of them are really that way. I mean, ain't neither one of them really fit for anything, but like what she said, you were taught that if you had a check, the Republicans are going to take your checks, Democrats are going to keep your checks. And it's like a lot of people in Eastern Kentucky still believe that way, and they'll run and vote. I mean, if a pastor stands, up at the church that morning and says, "Hey, we got to vote Democrat or we're not going to keep the lights on here," everybody's going to run and vote Democrat. And it's
Yeah.
that does happen a lot right here, even in Wilson County. But
they keep us divided that way. They keep us divided. As long as we fight amongst ourselves, we can't see what the truth is. Like, one thing that irritates me is that I have to account for every dollar that comes into my bank account and every dollar that comes out with the IRS. Every year, all of us have to file tax returns if we have tried to work and make any money. We work for that money,
right.
And we have to account for everything. Yet they'll give billions of dollars to Ukraine or some other country and never ask for accountability of it. And to me, I don't know how all of us, I don't care where you sit, if you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent, you should care that they ask us to account for ours, but they can throw that money to another country that never worked for one dime of it and not ask them for accountability.
Didn't you say, Jim, that you're from a military family? Hadn't you told us that in the past? So there you go. So you support the military. You have military family background and stuff. We've got homeless veterans in our country that are sleeping under bridges that the government won't even give $1 to. Won't even put them in an old rundown apartment just so they'll have shelter over their head with a little heat. But they'll send billions and billions and billions of dollars overseas to people that they don't know, that's never done anything for this country, who will never do anything for this country, and they just continue to push it.
And no offense to Ukraine, I feel bad for all those people that's over there, but for me, I'd rather my tax money go to homeless veterans that are here in America.
No, fuck Ukraine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be nice, Jim. I'm just trying to be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got. Listen, have you guys heard about the new bill or whatever? The new bill that's supposed to the immigration bill, $20 billion immigration deal. They're giving. Was it $56 million to the immigrants coming in?
They're giving them
in New York,
places to stay.
Listen to this. They're getting this is a refillable card, $1,000 a month.
$1,000. I remember I told you that the other day. $1,000 a month on a card. That hell, it's just like, just hand us a card and say, "Hey, we're getting $1,000. No matter how much you spend, you get $1,000 every month."
Again,
but Americans don't get that, but illegals do.
For that money, we work for ours, yet we're getting it robbed every day by taxes. We don't even get probably a half or even a 40% of what we actually make. We probably don't actually get to keep. Everything goes to taxes, and I think that's ridiculous. As Americans, we should all agree that, hey, keep our help here at the home. And these immigrants, if they want to come over, do it the right way, but they should not be given $1,000. They have the right to pursue happiness. The Constitution did not say they would give it to them.
Right. No, I hope Trump gets back in. I really do. So, if there's one thing that Trump does, and he may be part of the cabal like they all are. However, I was killing it when Trump was in office until the shot came about and all that. Economy was great. There's one thing that he likes the red meat. He will do what he needs to do to keep us patriots, quote unquote, engaged and happy.
Well, he's for the working people. He's for small business. He's for American business. He's for helping all that. And I had more money in my pocket when he was in. People try to argue with me all the time about Republicans.
I'm sure the hell did.
It is. It's a fact. It's facts as to what I have a pew pew store. I can't say the G word because we'll
You
get
can
kicked
say it
off.
on my show.
But and I can tell you the impact that it has had, and I don't care what I'll argue all day with them. It has nothing to do with politics. It is facts.
And we have people, or I see people all the time now, especially like on Facebook, that'll sit back and say, now that Biden's in there, we've got the best economy in the world.
Never.
You know, we're doing so good, and I'm looking around like, hell, I've known businesses that have shut down. Well, like she
Mm-hmm.
said, the store here struggled for a year or so. You know, it's starting to come back up a little bit, but you know, and I'm like you, yeah. You mean you don't have to like Donald Trump. You can have a Donald Trump sucks ass sign in your yard, but you can't argue and say that you wasn't making more money when Donald Trump was in office. You know, the
Oh, I
world,
know.
the country was a lot better shape when Donald
Well,
Trump was in office.
Jim,
And here's the other thing with Trump is
Jim,
there
you're
were.
a mortgage, are you? Is that what you said? You're a
I'm a
mortgage.
loan. I actually can do loans in Kentucky, guys. If anybody wants to purchase a home, let me know.
So I'm in real estate, so I can tell you that Biden has raised interest rates ridiculously and really impacted that career.
Oh, I know. Yeah. We're this is an election year, so they're coming back down. But once the election is over,
Yeah.
get
I
ready.
don't know how the gas prices are there in Oklahoma, but the gas prices have went down to what they're $2.79, I believe, here.
We're like 240 ish.
Oh my goodness.
So I mean, you know, the gas prices are coming down, but
they're putting more
that's an election thing. You know, that's a thing to get on stage and say, hey, I brought the gas prices down. You know, I can do this and that.
Oh,
You got to reelect.
look at the interest rate. Oh, I know. It's an election year. Yeah, exactly right. What are you doing?
$1.99 before November. So.
I compare election year to the devil recruiting for hell. They can lie and say whatever they want to get you there, and then it's not so good once you get there.
What do you do in real estate?
Yeah. I've done it for 2 years now.
What is it? Are you a realtor?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, you need to use me for your loan officer.
You're in need for a loan officer right now, aren't you?
I am in need of loan
officer. There you go. You know, you were actually searching for one now. So.
Well, I'm going to text you my card. You call me anytime.
All right, I sure will. Thank you.
Yeah.
Does he think there's going to be another election infection?
And okay, yeah. So he said, "Do you think there will be another election infection?"
Yeah.
You mean another pandemic?
Yeah, another pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you mean coming up in August? Yeah. I don't mean. Here's the thing. I wish I knew because they want to keep Trump out. I mean, don't get me wrong. They on the back end, they're all friends, right? But for out here, because they know that Trump will win in a landslide if it's not rigged. So yeah, there's something coming. There's something coming. The October surprise, right?
You'll be familiar with that bill 3832.
3832.
Yeah, that's the one.
What's HR bill? Yeah. Are you familiar with HR bill 3832?
No, I'm not.
Look it up on Congress.gov. It's on Congress.gov.
They said you could go to Congress.gov and look that up, and it was called what?
Disease X Act.
The Disease X Act 2023. They were showing it to me before we went on the air, and I said that's kind of odd, you know, that's something that's basically come out here new. That's probably, you know, getting ready to take effect, like you said, probably about August.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. The polls, you know, it'll take effect
because they have to tell us what they're doing. Just FYI. So yeah, I'll look it up. Okay. Yeah, all the answers are out here. We just have to know what to look for and how to discern them.
Yeah. People call us crazy, but sometimes you just pick up that little tracker that everybody has in their pocket and just type a few words in, and you'll be able to find everything that we're saying.
There is no excuse. There is no excuse anymore since 2010, at least, that you don't know what's going on. Because you have this right here. I can be in Milan, Italy in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know?
But people
mainstream media off a cliff where they look for anything from the
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, what was said there was people would follow the mainstream media before, and jump off a cliff, which is true. I'm not a Fox News person or any of that, CNN, any of that crap. But I mean, if they're sitting there on their TV and they're looking at you and they say, "Oh, yep, that moon's a shrinking." That was a thing that came out last week. The moon's a shrinking. Now everybody thinks, "Oh my God, the moon's going to get smaller in the sky," or if it was falling, that people be out there trying to catch it or something. I mean, it's just silliest thing in the world that they believe.
Well, I think Candace Owens talked about it too with the media, that the media often brings about war because of the way they report it, and that sometimes it's not accurate, but that's how they get people on board with it and the support, because nobody wants war, but that's how they get people on board for it, is the media.
Well, let's not forget AOC says the sun's cool at night.
Yeah. Did I play that video for you the last time you was on about what AOC said about going to the sun to collect samples?
No, I don't think. I don't remember that.
All right. Well, here, I'm going to play this for you. I want you
Yeah,
to. This is one of our lawmakers right here, and this is legit. This was recorded right off my television. So here you go. I had to rewind it back, but here you go. Let's get that up here.
I just had another amazing idea. So, maybe we can study the effects of global warming from the main source of all the heat in our solar system, the sun. Maybe I can convince Elon Musk, who is absolutely obsessed with me, by the way, to do something good with SpaceX and figure out a mission to the sun in order to get samples. I suggest we go at night because it would probably be too hot during the day, but we'll leave all that up to the scientists.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, seriously. I heard and I rewound that back.
Is she punking us?
There's no cure for stupid.
No, and that woman sits on one of her lawmakers in Congress and sits and makes the decisions for this country. And she thinks, like right now, it's night here. I don't know if it's not. Well, yeah, it'd probably be night there too at this time of night. But it's night right now. So the sun's warmer this time of night. So at night the sun would be warmer. And I'm thinking, so okay.
You can't fix stupid.
Oh yeah, it'd be cooler. But I think, what you're getting ready to say, I think what needs to happen for that mission is Elon Musk needs to get that set up and put her on the very first mission and let her go collect the sample of the sun and bring it back. And then,
make sure
be cured at that point. But
no, send her, be the first one up there, send her at nighttime.
I mean,
stuck with mixing drinks.
Yeah, she should have stayed as a bartender because that's just ignorant there.
Good Lord, that's funny.
And it still amazes me that people vote people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When it comes time for her election, they'll vote her right back in.
Do they?
Yeah.
When I die, they better make sure I vote the correct way.
I still want to meet the guy that voted for Abraham Lincoln and Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. How you could vote for Biden, but you also voted for Abraham Lincoln. So I don't know.
Man, well, yeah. Here's the thing. Those
510, but hell, I don't know how you could live to be that old. Yeah.
Well, my wife and we're presidents are selected, not elected, right? Listen, we all know that everything's effing rigged anyway. So I don't know I just don't know what's going to happen. I think what he was saying a few minutes ago is there be another pandemic to keep everybody in. They're going to pull something. Don't get me wrong. They don't want Trump in office. Of course, what they're saying outwardly, right? But because I think once he's in again, if it does happen, people can have a change of heart. Hell, look, who Paul, who Paul was, Paul the disciple, Paul, right? Before he was Paul, he was Saul. Saul killed hundreds of thousands of Christians, right? God used him and turned him into Paul. So, no matter who you are in this beast system, God can do anything he wants for sure. Change your heart, do whatever. So, yeah. But I tell you, I want Trump back in office. I want to make some money.
So, put some money in your pocket. Do what now?
Biden's gonna be on the ticket, or they're gonna push Big Mike? Or
He said, "Do you think Biden will be on the ticket? Come election day?"
Well, there's some rumblings out there that they're gonna yank him out and put Michelle Obama in there, but I think he's going to be. I think that's just all for red meat for the Democrats and progressives. There's no reason to take him out because he's never on TV anyway. He doesn't do anything anyway. We know that if someone else is running the game anyway, right? So why not keep the same guy in there? Right. I mean, because they
brought it up the other day. She said, they're already having primaries. They had a primary in Nevada here recently, New Hampshire. Where was the other one at? It was somewhere out there. But, they've already had a couple primaries already where his name has been on the ballot. So that's what we were talking about. Like, how could he supposedly win, a couple of states primaries, and then they just pull him out and push her in, at the end. And it's like, but, me and Dad were talking about it this morning that she would win. If that happened, if they pushed her in come election day and had him out, she would still win because everybody would flock and say, "Oh God, we've got to vote for her. She's a woman," and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if that's even true or not because, I've seen a few things of dangling there in some of her dance videos with Ellen, but
some of her pictures.
Yeah.
So
when he was a foreign exchange.
Well, they killed Joan Rivers.
That's right.
You know why they killed Joan?
Yeah, I had that video once before. I don't know if I still got it or not, the Joan Rivers video, but I did have it on here at one point in time. Where she basically come out and said, "We've already had the one."
Well, they kept asking
gay,
her, we never have a gay president.
Transgender stuff, yeah. And she's like, "Well, we've already had that. We had that with Obama."
So we have it with Obama. He's married to a transy.
Yeah, so just calm down. Just calm down. But yeah, no, it's they can. This, as we know, they can do anything they want because we have people out there that aren't engaged totally, and even if we were, they could still rig it. Doesn't matter,
I told them in here the other day we were talking about the voting machines, and I said, here's the thing: every day you hear about a cell phone getting hacked, or you hear about a computer getting hacked. I said, if you can hack a cell phone or a computer, you can hack a voting machine because they're run by a computer. I mean, it's the same stuff that, if you went and connected your phone at a voting poll, it would be on the same internet. It would be the same connection. So, I mean, if you could hack one, you could hack
same connection. Yeah. Well, yeah, no. And so my wife is convinced, and I kind of agree with her that when you put your voting paper in that machine, it's just a shredder. it just shreds that paper.
We don't know where the paper goes once it goes in there.
Yeah. So, but they can do anything they want. It's only a matter of how they implement it.
Has he seen the Tucker Carlson Putin interview?
Have you? He asked, "Have you seen the Tucker Carlson Putin interview?"
Parts of it. Parts of it. I've seen a lot of talk about it. What do you guys know, or what did you hear in it?
Well, that's me. I've seen a few videos, like on X or, I've not watched it all. We're actually planning on watching it one day this week, and trying to get the gist of it so we'll know a little bit more about it. But
mm-hmm.
They want to get Tucker for espionage.
Yeah, they're trying everywhere in the world. They tried to get it where Tucker couldn't even come back to the country.
Really?
Trying to get him for espionage.
Yeah, because they said he went there and stuff, and I'm like, the dude's got a set of nuts. He's doing what you all can't do or won't do.
It was an insurrection in Russia. He can't come back.
All we hear about is Zelensky this, Zelensky that. Well, let's listen to the other guy. Let's find out, what the other guy's got to say. No, they don't want to hear that because they can't send billions of dollars over there.
Well, because they're not controlling Putin. There's no control of Putin.
They don't want because it's so controlled here. The media, it's they're all in it together, man. Fox is gone. They were they were okay when they came out in '97. You know, it was all good, but it's all controlled by George Soros. You know.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible.
It's all part of Operation Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth watching anymore. At one point in time,
Uh,
it was what the conservative network or whatever. It's not even that anymore. I mean, it's
uh,
If they got rid of Tucker, you'd be lucky to get 30% out of it.
yeah.
That's being
Well,
generous.
I used to watch a little bit of it when Tucker was still on there, but after they got rid of him, I don't even fool with it anymore.
yeah, they got Jesse Waters, who seems to be pretty, okay. They've got the 5. Greg Gutfield seems to be okay for now.
Maybe Laura Ingram.
Yeah, Laura Ingram. There's a few of them on there. I still believe they
Yeah.
haven't completely got to yet, but look
Yeah.
what happens to them all. I mean, once they say the one little thing they don't like, boom, they cut them and they're gone. But like
Mhm.
they cut him thinking, well, we don't want you to say this. He goes and creates his own thing. Now he can say whatever he wants and they can't stand it. He can do whatever he wants. They can't stand it.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to cut the umbilical cord from this New World Order beast system.
Who do you think Trump's VP may be?
He asked, who do you think Trump's vice president?
VP. Man, I'd like to see that Sunjet Bhattacharya, whatever that Indian guy is.
Oh, Ramaswamy or Vivek Ramaswamy?
Yeah, Swami guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like what he said. He may be a puppet too, but boy, he's got my red meat. I'm like, damn, I love it. So,
Well, I mean, anybody that would stand on a debate stage when you're an active candidate and say, you need to vote for Donald Trump. I said, hell, it's just like this guy paid his money to be on the ticket only to support, only to be backing Trump because he was telling them all, he said, I'd back Trump in a heartbeat, and all this. And I'm like, well, I like this guy.
yeah. But that's where but who is it going to be? I don't, I'm afraid it, like everything, like Ronald Reagan got George Bush, who was an insider. Fucking Bush got fucking Cheney, who's a deep. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Bushes are insiders too, but it always seems to be you got the red meat guy, and then you got to get some kind of insider. I don't know. Who knows?
I still would have liked Tucker.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on the list, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll end
I
up
think
doing.
he'll be press secretary, maybe.
Oh, that'd be good.
Tucker as the press
He
secretary?
could
Yeah,
control.
that'd be pretty
He
cool.
could control.
Be interesting.
Yeah, there wouldn't be too many media going on with him then, wouldn't they?
What cracks me
No.
up? Calling Biden out, or Biden's press secretary out, and yet she just circles around the whole same thing over and over again. And then the other day she said Biden's never insulted the American people, and I'm like, dude, he insults us every time he speaks. Just about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's threatened with F-15s and nukes, and then he turned around and told Abbott, "You guys tear the wall down, or else." I mean, I'd take that as a threat, or else what?
Yeah. Well, that's what the men gonna be saying.
Yeah, but he ain't threatening the people, Or,
back to this is an invasion, guys. They're planning something with, I don't know, a year from now, 2 years, whatever their timeline is. We are being invaded by men from China.
We saw a report of that, didn't we? They said they are like young military style.
The majority of the immigrants coming across the border down there, wherever they're coming from, they're all about military age. Younger guys, men that are military fighting age. And, it's just kind of odd that, you don't see no women. You hardly ever see any children.
Of Asian descent. So how did they travel the ocean from China or somewhere else and get to South America and then walk all their way up here to cross the border?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's
walking from here to Texas.
They're cooking something up. I mean, they're along with a bunch of other crap. This is part of a cog in the wheel that they're cooking something up. Who knows what it is, but yeah, we're being invaded, and guns and ammo and food and water.
Yeah, well, we definitely know about that here, at the store because, people come in every day and they're like, well, I'll just say it, you don't have a lot of guns on the rack. And, and it's like, okay, and I hear her say, I hear it in my sleep, there's just not a big market for guns right now, and there's not.
People don't have money.
You know, they don't.
just don't have money. They were
Right.
buying them during Trump's era. They're not buying them
If
now.
you can afford to buy you one, you better be buying you one. You know,
Yeah.
if you're Mark Carpenter, you've already ready for war. But I mean, you know, who buys one about once a month anyway, don't you, Mark? But
maybe not that.
But I mean, you know, it's silly. I mean, I've been here, well, probably going on 2 years now. You know, within the store here, and we looked at the sales thing from 2022 to now. You know, so the last 2 years they've plummeted. You know, the sales
Horrible.
You know, have went down. You know, tremendously, and it's like a lot of people's like, oh, the news is telling us we can't own them, we can't have this kind, or we can't have this, and it's like. That's why I want them. It's because they're telling me I can't have them. That's why I want more of them. So.
Right. Yeah. We got to stop. Got to get off the tit of the government, man. You know. Quit listening. George Carlin. I always mention this. I think with your show, George Carlin said it the best. I live by a set of rules, and the first rule is I don't believe a word the government tells me.
That's right.
That's the way it should be.
Yep. And it's a big club, and another thing you said, it's a big club, and we ain't in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we were talking earlier today. Anytime the government comes up with something, or you find something out about the government, and you start to share it, all of a sudden you disappear, or they find you floating in a river, or your family gets shot up, or your house burns.
You got twisted.
You know, there's always something other. You know, they come after you or your family, one of the two. And,
Yeah.
You know, no, it's just, you know, I was told here in Morgan County, where we live at, is it last year? Yeah, it was last year. I was told, you know, I did a show with the county attorney here, and you know, it was about some stuff that was going on with some other elected officials
politics,
here.
Local.
You know, a lot of local politics, which this is one of the most corrupt, you know, counties they are in the entire state when it comes to politics and stuff. And I was told a week prior to hosting that event that I wouldn't do that if I were you, because you'll end up floating in the lake down the road here, or they'll find you in a holler somewhere and all this. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and do it then. Because it's like, you know, you're telling me not to do it. I'm not going to be scared out of my mind and not do it. So, you know, I did it anyway. And well, it actually became one of my most viewed events I ever had. But,
all right. Well, listen, you got to speak truth to power and have no fear. God didn't give us a spirit of fear.
I don't. I've lived through the best times America had to offer anyway. So.
Oh, you're talking about the Bill Clinton presidency?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
Well, I'm not talking about the Bush or the Bill Clinton. I'm talking about way before social media was telling us everything we had to do.
Oh, back when we just had Nintendos and Atari games. I see what you're talking about.
We didn't even have those.
Oh, don't get me started about the 80s. I loved it.
Yeah, that was the best of times. I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, you're never going to see the best America has to offer because we already lived that. And it's not that way anymore. I mean, people are so greedy and just the society we live in is so self-centered.
Yeah, we had like I said,
and uninformed
about that snow that we had here recently, and a guy put it on Facebook. I don't remember who it was, but he said they drove around the county.
Lawrence.
Yeah, and he may be watching, but he's the mailman. He had said he drove around the county or whatever delivering the mail, and he noticed something that he had never noticed before. We had snow on the ground, school was canceled, and there was no children out playing in the snow. You know, years ago when we were kids, Lord, if we got a half inch of snow, we had a trash bag or something other outside trying to ride over a hill or an old car hood or something. I mean, you know, throwing snowballs at each other. And nowadays you just drive up down the road. There ain't a kid nowhere hardly. And it's, you know, Merle Haggard, I think it's, Merle Haggard said it. Are the good times really over for good? And I believe that answer is yes.
Well, I think one thing, too, somebody pointed out, though, is that they don't have traditional snow days anymore. They want the kids in front of the computer on days they're home doing schoolwork, so they call it NTI Day, so they get credit for those days rather than saying they took them off for snow days.
Right.
They just want them in their face. Yeah. Computers all the time.
Yeah. Games.
You get yourself into tonight, did you, Jim?
We miss you. I miss you.
Yeah, it's been,
Been a while.
well, it's probably September maybe the last time we had him on, or somewhere. I don't know, somewhere through there.
That's been a minute.
I like Jim.
Yeah, I missed him.
Yeah, you've got an audience out here sitting in here with us.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I'm
I
not
really
saying
enjoy talking to you guys.
I kind of worried tonight that we might have a little bit of trouble getting the online viewership at the Super Bowl going on. And speaking of the Super Bowl, there's 2 minutes 28 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Chiefs have now taken the lead 13-10. But, you know, like I said, I've waited for someone to say, why are you all doing this on Super Bowl night? So I could answer them and say, I haven't watched the NFL in years.
There you go.
Why the world would I watch it tonight?
Yeah.
You know, just because Taylor Swift's on there? Hell, I wouldn't watch it if I was the number one fan of either one of those teams just because she's on there. So,
Hey, I'd rather watch college sports anyway.
yeah.
Well, when they started kneeling and disrespecting and stuff, I just stopped watching the Super Bowl. I don't know why that had to be a ploy for them, but I don't know. I think it's all rigged.
It is.
So who's the team there?
Yeah, it
The Oklahoma
definitely
Sooners?
is. Yeah.
The Oklahoma Sooners, is that the big football team there?
Yeah, Sooners and OSU Cowboys, but the Sooners are the big one, and we're coming to the SEC next year.
Yep. Yep, you'll be in there with us. Which if our Kentucky team don't start getting any better, it won't take much to beat us. You know.
I watched that just a little bit.
Yeah, our basketball team's starting to get the Louisville vibes.
I think it's
They're starting to struggle, but
Oh, heck, one more or twice as many.
I'm trying to. I want to text you my.
I got some Louisville fans in the audience. I might start getting stuff thrown at me, but
it's all rigged as well, so it's okay.
well, I feel that way. You know, not only with professional sports and college sports now, they've legalized it in the state of Kentucky where you can bet on sports. You know, college sports and stuff here, like DraftKings and all that stuff. So it's like it ain't no fun to watch sports anymore when you almost know who's going to win. You know, you sit around and make $1 million off of a team if they kick a field goal and win the game. You know, it's like it ain't even no fun anymore because they can say, "Hey, we'll pay you this." You know, if this team throws the game, and they're going to throw the game, so there just ain't no fun in it.
No, it's no fun when it's already when somebody else knows the outcome and it's not. And it takes some good fun.
You could take the smallest D1 school they are, you know, that ain't won a game all year, and they could be the top 10 team if the money's right. You know, so I mean, you know, like when we get to the NCAA tournament, you got them 16 seeds. This year's one of them years where you better start betting on them 16 seeds because they may win a couple of games. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just they're taking the fun out of it, and I just don't enjoy it anymore. And that's I watch professional sports for years.
It's a big machine. So, well, when are you going to have me on next?
Well, you tell me whenever you want to be on. You told us there in the last time that, you know, maybe we should start doing like a monthly thing, whenever you want to do it. You know, I like the idea of it. I mean, that kind of keeps us, you know, in the loop, gives us a couple of weeks in between to see what's going on in this crazy world. And then, you know, if that's something you're interested in doing, we'll keep that going.
Yes. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll text you. I will text you my business card so you have it. And also I'll text, the next time we do it, and whenever you guys are free, that'd be great.
Yeah, sounds good to me, man.
Cool. Well, thank you for having me on, and I hope we covered all the bases at least tonight with what's going on. And remember, life is fluid; things are going to change. So we just have to understand what Yahweh has in store for us, and that Jesus, Yeshua, is our Savior. And as long as we got that covered, we can work on everything else.
You are correct.
I hope he gets his way to Kentucky one day, like me.
Yeah, they said they hope that you can make your way to Kentucky one of these days so they can meet you. Which
I'd love to. Yeah.
Or we're going to have to take a road trip to Oklahoma, one of the two.
Maybe.
You should. I know Mike Wilkerson came this way last summer, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was here locally, so yeah. Well, I'll text you my card. Let's do this again here in a few weeks.
All right,
about a month.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it so much.
Bye, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Have a good night.
You too.
still got it right now. He's still with us.
I'm still there.
So y'all better not be talking bad about him just yet. All right, he's gone. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. I mean, like I said, I enjoy having Jim on. If he was a little bit closer, to us, it might be a little bit easier to meet in the middle and do a show somewhere or something. But Oklahoma, it's pretty good haul from here. But a good summer road trip or something other would be nice. That might be the deal we make with him the next time we're on the air. This summer, one of us will travel to the other person's location. The following summer, you come here. Sort of like the Kentucky-Gonzaga agreement. Even though we will actually win when we go there. We could actually win when we go.
Make it during July 4th week so you can take your audience.
Oh, because that's when they get off for their break.
Yeah, we can do that. I would say we could do the Christmas week, but it might snow in Oklahoma at Christmas. So you never know.
I got stranded in Missouri once on an ice storm.
So what you guys want to talk about anything while we're on the air? I actually saw Matthew pop back on here a minute ago, so if he's still on here, hey Matthew, hopefully to see you soon.
We missed you.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of people's probably wondering like why we're doing this during a Super Bowl night. But it's like I don't watch football.
I don't care about
I don't understand.
I don't watch football. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't watch the NFL. I don't watch, and I don't even watch a lot of college ball really. But I mean, I watch more of it than I do, the professional stuff. So it's like I haven't watched an NFL game all year. I mean, I wouldn't know who Travis Kelce even is if he wasn't all over the television.
There's no heart in the
not only that, this is more. Some of this discussion is more important than. I mean, watching a football game ain't gonna save your life.
No, but I mean, like when Wayne said earlier, is like most people they'll follow the mainstream media instead of
looking up stuff on their own
and seeing
research it.
Find something.
In Matthew's famous words, can you do it for us in Matthew style? No. Can you do it for us?
Look it up. Well, I mean, Matthew.
Look it up.
Matthew says that, and if Matthew's watching, I mean, he'd probably text it in there right now. Look it up. I mean, like Jim said, everybody has one of these. Almost everybody has one of these. And if you don't have a phone, you probably got a Kindle or some type of tablet with internet connection.
Perfect example is we had a customer come in this past week, mentions something.
He may be watching.
And Michael looks it up. And when he leaves, he goes, he's telling the truth.
He's telling the truth. Found it. I mean, that's me. If Mark looks at me and tells me that the aliens are living in a cave, behind his house.
We're probably going to go look and see.
I'm probably going to go look and see first. Then I'll come back on the air and say he was correct. Because I want to see him. I want to see what he's got going on there.
We have some camera footage.
But, it's, with everybody having a phone in their pocket now, it's just easy. There shouldn't be no sitting and watching no TV stuff. Who was that told us that? It was Brandon told us the other day. He said, somebody said something to him about something that was on the news, and he looked at him and said, if you're getting your sources from a television, then I don't even want to talk to you. And that's true. If you're going to sit and watch the news and get all of your information or be told that you can't walk outside, anything like that, and listen to what the news tells you, then when all heck breaks loose, don't come a knocking. We talk all the time about, trying to have a group of people make a stance. And it's you're not going to be able to get the county to stand or the state to stand until the more close friendship people start standing. So, everybody's got to take a stand at one time.
I think we have to meet in the middle on something that we all agree on. And that's the problem, is that the media enhances anything that we disagree on. Government enhances anything that we disagree. And that's on both sides. That's on Republican and Democrat sides. There are common grounds, but for some reason, none of us want to meet on common grounds on where we do agree on things. Like, what do we all agree on? I mean,
divide and conquer.
And they keep us that way. So they keep us at each other to where we're fighting for people that, in all honesty, if you go back and look at the way they voted, I mean, Republicans and Democrats have to vote to send that money overseas rather than help our own Americans.
Oh, it's a bipartisan agreement.
So
before any money goes overseas.
And they both want us to be responsible in accounting what we're spending our money on and what we're making. So they're accountable for those taxes that we're taxed. They are also accountable for any program that they approve. They approve veteran programs. They approve all these different programs. So, you know, I think we all need to look at what we agree on and not what we disagree on. There's always going to be things we're going to disagree on. Abortion's probably one that a lot of people are going to disagree on. I have my reasons why I believe the way I believe. Other people have their reasons why they believe that way. If that's something that we can't agree on, then we need to find something that we do agree on.
Would you like to take the seat?
No.
And just come over here and tell your story?
No.
And just tell your
Go
story?
ahead,
Okay.
honey.
No, I'm just messing. I mean, that was a really good conversation. I mean, I could swing that camera around.
I don't need to be back on camera.
You know.
I can talk right here just like Mark.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we talk about it all the time. You know, a lot of times, you know, people come into the store here, you know, they hear us talking about survival stuff or, you know, trying to get things prepared because of civil war that can be breaking loose, or, you know, the grid could go down at any minute. And you have to have some backup stuff, some ways to stay warm, some food. You know, the grocery stores and stuff like that's going to be ransacked within a matter of hours. You know, so I mean, you're not just going to be able to drive down the road, because the gas stations are going to be gone. So, I mean, you have to be able to plan ahead, you know, and be prepared for anything. And, you know, we will probably have this show in the coming weeks where we talk more about the survival stuff and everything. While I've got the time, you know, I just figured I could bring some of that stuff up because so many people call us conspiracy theorists. Oh, the world's not never going to do it. Back in 1929, nobody thought the stock market was going to crash either.
Well, can I tell you this?
And then the Great Depression follows.
My whole life,
I
was told that we would never have a tornado because we were in the hills, and we had
had two.
Yeah, so I mean,
well, technically 3. We had 2 in Morgan County. You know, the one on that Wednesday, and then the big one here in town. You know, and then Sayersville the same night on the Friday night. You know, had that one. So there was 3 tornadoes set down right in the hills, where we've always been told, especially a tornado that size, you know, would never be able to fit in here and
never have to worry about that.
You know, that's what I'm saying. So floods, the 100-year flood that happened down in you know, far southeast Kentucky, you know, just a few miles from here, some of them in Breathitt. So I mean,
my thing is
you got to be ready for anything.
Why not prepare, and better safe than sorry? I mean, that's been the whole saying as I grew up and stuff. Why not have a disaster bag? You never know when something's going to happen that you got to run out of your house. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier, and you know, Chrissy says it here about Jackson 2 years ago. But you know, I was in Jackson today. You know, drove down through there, and still off to the side there. You know, there's still the campers and sitting on the side of the road of people that, you know, homes were displaced during the floods, that still, you know, have not been able to go back to their, you know, where they were at, their land. So I mean,
yeah, you pointed it out as we drove past there today.
You can't blame those people, because those people didn't have the help, you know, the federal help and stuff that, you know, usually in a situation like that you have. We learned that down here, you know, in town when the tornado hit. I mean, the government comes in, they take over, they throw a few dollars around, and they leave. And then, you know, if you're one of the lucky ones, you might get to put you a home back on your spot. But if not, you never, you know, that's the end of it. Then you're trying to find somewhere.
Well, we had a customer that came in here and said that FEMA was giving them $1,600
for the insurance,
because they had to replace their whole ductwork, everything. $1,600 wouldn't have fixed what they had to fix, but they were going to give them $1,600. But then they had to agree to carry flood insurance, which was going to be $1,200 a year, and they could never drop that flood insurance, or they would have to pay the $1,600 back to FEMA. And if their kids inherited their house, their kids would have to agree to carry that flood insurance.
It's beautiful. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like they're trying to force people out of their county, you know, or out of their, you know, their land, their family land that they've had for years, like trying to force them to go somewhere else, you know. And it's pitiful but it happens, you know. Hopefully, knock on wood, that don't ever happen again in that area. But it could happen, maybe not that part of Eastern Kentucky. It could happen in the northern part, you know, up toward Carter County or even here. So, I mean, you know, we don't want to never see anything like that happen, but that's what we try to tell people. You know, that's natural disasters. But we also try to tell people about government disasters. All the government has to do is push a button and everything's gone. All your phone services and your TVs and everything's gone.
It happens in other countries. Look at Venezuela.
Venezuela is in that situation right now. They're standing in line for 3 miles to get a cup of cheese, because of socialism. And it's like, but people just see me or her or Matthew or you guys pop on a screen or just talk about it in public, and they're like, you guys are crazy. You guys are conspiracy theorists, and you're talking about this. Go to Venezuela and ask those people. They were promised all the stuff in the world to vote that man in, and then they voted him in, and now they're living in poverty pretty much, starving down there. So, people.
You gotta think outside the box. It's better to be prepared and not need it.
And I hope it doesn't happen to us. I hope that we don't ever have to use it.
Yeah.
But it's just like having your carry conceal permit. You hope you never have to use it, but just in case.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's what people don't look at, is they don't want to deal with the reality of it.
Speaking of carry concealed, probably the first or second week of March, you said you probably would have your next class. I mean, I know there were some people that were talked about coming to the most recent one, and they weren't able to make it. So if any of those people are watching, there's one coming up in a couple of weeks now, probably the first or second Sunday in the month of March. Like I said, we're going to do this disaster show coming up pretty soon. We've got a small business event coming up pretty soon.
Paul Harvey thing, you're going to break it.
I'm going to break. Hopefully, have Matthew back here next week or week after, whenever, and try to get the Paul Harvey and the 1984. The book should be here by then. So I'll be able to break some stuff down and have some interesting things to let you guys know that's been predicted since the 40s and the 60s that are currently happening. And then it may not be as crazy sounding once you hear it in something like that. Let's see what else we're doing here. Of course, we'll be live here Tuesday night, doing the live sale on the Outback page. So if you ain't following that, you can go over there and follow that or look for us. Trying to think if there's anything else we can talk about real quick that needs to be mentioned. I really don't want to mention it on here, but I'll go ahead and say it that one day this week you will be seeing I will be releasing what I recorded before we come on the air here tonight. So you all will be seeing my announcement, which most people already know about it that's in the room with us now, but you'll be seeing that coming up pretty soon. That I've actually got that recorded for my intent there. Is that about it? That's about all I can think of right now. So anybody's got anything they need to do, got any questions, just shoot any of us a message, shoot it to the show page, shoot us some private messages, email, whatever you need to do, give us a call.
Even if it's a disagreement.
Even if it's a disagreement, stop by the store and we'll figure something other out. Just know if you do come to the store, though, you do have to pay taxes. If there is anything,
we all have to pay taxes.
If you buy something in the store, you have to buy. You have to pay taxes. So it is what it is. I'd like to come to the class when you have it. Just let me know. So Nora Henry, right here you go. Nora Henry, you write her down right there.
I'll add to that. I will recommend the class, not just to learn self-defense, but just the laws in general.
Mark took my class, didn't you?
Yeah.
Michael took my class. Mark took my class.
You got her. Okay.
You
Okay.
so
she copied you. She commented to you there, Nora. So we get you down. Like I said, we'll let you know for sure. But yeah, it's not a bad class. I mean, I got to set in on the most recent one that she did because I'm planning on to get my instructor stuff later on this year to be able to do one myself. So I've been doing some student teaching, I guess you could say. But but yeah, it ain't that bad. If I can pass it, anybody can. All right, guys. Well, I hope you all guys enjoyed Jim. We're going to have him back on in a few weeks. Never know what's going to happen between now and then to talk about. Matthew, should be able to get Matthew back on here in the next coming weeks as well. I know he's busy with the ball schedules and stuff right now. So, hopefully we'll be able to get him, here in a few weeks. But until then, I hope everybody, has a good night. Stay safe. You know, if you're a football fan, hopefully your team's winning or not, or whatever. You know, if you're bored and ain't got anything going on this week, stop by the store and see us. You know, we're here pretty much all the time. You know, lately 7 days a week, but you know, just swing by. We got a lot of new stuff in. A lot of the shelves are full here now. When you come in, you might see some junk piled up around the front.
Maybe tell
You know,
people
some
too,
boxes.
it's not just pew pews. It's a little
You
bit.
know,
of
yeah. And just because you see the sign out there that has guns wrote on it, doesn't mean that's all it is. You know, there's a lot of stuff here. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff, a lot of things some of you probably haven't even seen
We have
that we
nightstands.
posted. We've got nightstands. I see fans. There's a copier. I
Baby
see
walkers.
blow up mattresses. I've got drills. I've got
Luggage.
tools, luggage bags. Of course, we've got all the Carhartt clothes. And the Red
Grills.
Wing boots are right behind me here.
Heaters.
Grills, heaters,
Sinks.
yeah, sinks,
Ceiling fans.
like
there's
ceiling fans, yeah.
everything. I mean,
Yeah,
tools.
so yeah, stop
There's
by.
some
You know, we got
tools.
Buck boots right here, the Red Wings and the Carhartt boots over there. So, you know, we got fishing stuff over here, you know, honey. I mean, it's basically the "and more" that you see at the end of the name is everything else here. You know, just because the guns is on there doesn't mean that this store is full of guns, and we're not a pawn shop. You know, so you know there is a lot of things there. But anyway, hope you guys have a good night. Take care, and we look forward to talking to you.